the fourth or the fifth. I don't even know. There's a lot of them out here.
Oh, how do I make that go away?
What?
There. All right.
Might have.
Yeah. So, just a second here. Yeah. All right. Hi. I am here. Just a sec. Oh, there we are. Hi. So yeah, I'm starting a bit. I don't know why I'm looking at my wrist. I don't have a watch on. Starting a bit earlier, just because I got everything set up and thought, why not? Let me just pull up the chat so I can see if you guys talk to me. Now, one thing that's really annoying is that down here where I have the follower count, I don't have 0 followers. I do have a few, but for some reason it's not tracking it. When I set it up, it worked, but right now it's not really doing so. So it's a bit of a bummer. Let me go and yeah. All right, now I have the chat. Sweet. Awesome sauce. So yeah, I'm gonna struggle through a headache right now because, well, that's dehydration will do that to you. But I have tea. So now I've been to the workshop and I've gotten back my favorite scalpel blade, and yes, or scalpel handle. Yes, there are very big differences. This just feels right in my hand, so I feel comfortable using it. And we are going to be continuing with the inlays for Matt's guitar. Last stream, we were kind of waiting for answers because, well, due to my poor timing on things, I, of course, stream while Matt himself is streaming. So, asking questions in real time is somewhat of an issue. But we had the idea of having the bigger inlay and then splitting it into a few different parts because of how the frets work. But I've since talked to Matt and we opted to go with the smaller inlay. So that is what we're going to do. Maybe you're focused, maybe you aren't. Maybe you're focused on my face. I don't know. But yeah, so that's on the agenda today. And hopefully we'll actually get to doing some inlay stuff. But my glasses are way too much at this point. I don't need them. I'm not that blind. Yet, anyway. And now the thing that I did do, and kind of screw myself over, is I have not taped this inlay, but let's see if I have one that is pretty much the same size. No, that's a tiny bit bigger. This is the smallest I have, so this is the one that we're going to use. I'll just have to work around it. No, nothing else to it really. So I just put in a fresh blade onto the scalpel just to make my life that much easier, because yeah, it wasn't that sharp previous go around. The only thing that now kind of sucks is the fact that I have the masking tape here, which makes making out the details a bit more troublesome, but you know, I've been off worse. Now this one is fairly simple because it's just a one piece thing. Now I have to put on another layer of masking tape while I look for an appropriate piece to cut it out of. And I think that right there is perfect. So what I'm going to do is pretty much the same that I already started doing with the previous lot, but I am going to first engrave the inlay onto the pearl, and then only go to cut it out. Man, I love having an electric table. I can actually put it up to working height. Now, the key here really is to not go through on the first pass. Do need some reference material a bit closer up. Hey, what was that there? Somebody followed. By the looks of it. It's really funny because I'm looking at this now. Hey! Steven. How you doing? Howdy. How's it going, man? My stream is lagging quite a bit behind, so that's why my reactions are... I'm reacting to real-time stuff I'm seeing on the computer screen over there, but seeing things pop up as they come on my phone. So, yeah. Now, anybody who's watching the video later on YouTube, and you have an Instagram account, go check out Hurafin. I hope I'm saying that correct. Hurafin Music on and Hurafin Guitars on Instagram and elsewhere, I believe. Got some really, really cool stuff. Steven actually sent me some awesome pics. Well, sent me some. I bought some. But he is a terrific plectrum maker as well. And these are some of his stuff. Recommend checking him out. There you go. Now, once I managed to figure out how Twitch and Streamlabs and everything else works, thinking I'll have some background music while I work because, well, working in complete silence is always sort of a drag. Okay. Just trying to get as many details carved out or engraved onto the piece of pearl as I can before I start cutting things out. And granted, yes, I could do this all after the fact, but if I kind of already know where details are going to be, it makes it easier for me to kind of just mark them out. Can you get a camera closer to the inlay, please? Well, surely I can. Somehow. My issue is that I really need an extension cord or an extension USB because, yeah, this isn't kind of cutting it, but I'll see what I can do. Maybe I do this, do that, and then bring it in. Alright. Just a sec. Configure video. Camera control. Zoom. Zoom and enhance. Is it zooming? Well, it's zooming a little bit. Well, I tried. Technically, what I could do is bring PC even closer. Really stretch those wires out. Bring this down. This probably looks horrendous right now, so bear with me while I figure this out. Hold on. Yep, here we are. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. All right. How is this? It's pretty much as close as I can get it right now. And, yeah. I mean, technically I can bring it onto another tripod, but, yeah. I really do need that extra cable to get the length a bit better, because right now the camera is hooked onto the computer right there, which is being stretched out as far as it possibly can be stretched out. So fall off my table. There. Again. Yep. All right. You'll have to deal with that now. I love the fact that it's like most of my streams are just me trying to work out technical issues. Now, I wonder, should I do Hey! Welcome to the stream. Guitar inlay time indeed. Well, hopefully. I aim to do some guitar inlay work today. We'll see how far we get. I think I'm gonna cut that out and then finesse everything afterwards. But essentially, I wonder if you can see any of that. But yeah. Essentially, that's what we're working with right now. I need to get my camera to film this bit. Jesus. To say that it's a tight squeeze is kind of not at all exaggerating. But I can get around. Okay. Perfect. Yep, my mics are on. Alright, I'm gonna bring that in so I can actually see the chat. I did call for a G suspended, so if you could play one out for me, that would be great. Hardy har. Alright, so. This is the part where I realize that I actually have to check whether I have other blades. Because if I run out of blades, then I am screwed. Often watching Herman Lee stream, sometimes Gina. Oh, January. I really, like, personally, I would love to watch more streams. I just never have the time for any of it, which sucks. I follow all of the streamers, But I don't actually watch their streams because I don't ever find the time to do so. These are all not good enough. It looks like I only have 2 blades for this entire thing. So hopefully I don't screw anything up. And hopefully that wasn't foreshadowing. Why the cherry? I feel like I'm not getting the reference. Oh, hype train. Okay. Woo! Awesome. I am not getting these alerts on my phone, which is annoying, to say the least. I need to sort that out. I think I might need to go back to actually using my laptop to monitor the stream, because that seems like something a bit more accurate on time. I don't know. Oh, of course, what I could do is, oh well. Oh, and I realized that one of my widgets is not working. I should have chat up on the screen right there, but it's not showing up, so it should be somewhere about here. Because I realized that when I'm making the highlight clips and whatnot, people ask me questions, but I might not always read the questions out loud. So, yeah. Realized what was kind of awkward about this. They didn't have any light. There we go, much better. I can actually see what I'm doing. But, you know, seeing what you're doing is completely overrated. I need to get better blades. The ones I had beforehand were much better than this one. Oh, awesome. You're looking to stream as well. Yeah, I'd be really interested to see that happen in the future. Need to get the workshop in better shape. Oh, I know. I know the feeling. Um, you can see how haphazard everything is for me right now, so I rough cut my first base build earlier. Might be a good candidate. Yeah, definitely a good candidate. First base. It's really weird because I always thought that you've already made a base before, but I guess you've just done custom work, I guess, on bases? I did a baritone, yeah, lots of custom work. 2, lots of custom work. I really should read things properly. It's also really annoying because the previous blades I had really cut through pearl like butter, and now this is just, I think the blade is dull more than anything else. Ah, right, so 3 bases. Oh. Buffalo base, actual bad water in the court, muffle, match, Mac. Oh, okay. Oh, uh, I haven't mentioned this to you either, but I'll make a post about it later on, probably on Sunday when I get proper pictures of it. But I was at the workshop yesterday, and I was routing the Celeste 2.0, so the semi-hollow. I was routing the outside perimeter. Now you remember that I made those templates a while back, and I got them really refined, and they were just the way I wanted them to. Well, the router bit started to sag ever so slightly, and I didn't notice it while I was in the router table. So, a little bit of the cutaway got, well, to me, completely ruined. It's easily fixed, but I'm really glad that the router bit in question was rather small. If it was any bigger with a bigger diameter, it would have probably completely chewed up the guitar and I would have ruined the entire thing. Fortunately, it's still something that I can recover, but it's just freaking annoying because it was going oh so well. And it was on the very, very last pass on the router table, and it just got a little bit busted. But no matter, I can fix it. Fortunately, there is wood there to work with, so it's not near like the actual chambering as such. That would have been a disaster. Bearing failure is one of the fears using router. Oh, it wasn't the bearing that failed. It was the locking. Well, yeah, I guess the locking on the Triton router gave way just a little bit, so the blade itself, or the router bit itself, started descending a little bit because it didn't lock the way I wanted it to. So yeah, it just enough to go so the bearing was right underneath the template. Bearing failure is one of the fears using the router. I'm looking at the router planes as well for some jobs, but they're not always practical. New collet needed maybe. Yep, probably could be the case. Hey, remember when I said that I only have one extra blade? Well, there goes a part of this one. I can still use the rest of it. Yeah, I'm going back on Sunday to finish shaping all that up. But I'll be using the Triton bobbin sander to fix it up. I'll work on the template later on. But what I do need to remember to take with me is my own router bits from Radium. Now the thing is, I would have this really lovely 4-flute cutter, but I don't have empirical collets at all. So that's something I need to buy, but I don't think I'll be able to do that before Sunday. So I need to make do with what they have at the workshop, which isn't always ideal, but just another reason why it sucks to work in a field where you have two different modes of measuring things. I'm looking at everybody who uses empirical measurements. Hell, I use them for some things, but come on. I went call it crazy when I got mine. Yep, I should have, but I just haven't. It tends to affect me in the way where it's like I don't have any place to actually use my own router. I'm not going to use it here. I mean, I have a couple of times, but I'm not going to do any proper routing at home in an apartment building. So that's, I guess, I've kind of really hoped that maker spaces that I've gone to would have the right callets. They never do, and I end up using their bits, which are kind of, they can be either really great, but in most circumstances, they really, really are not. Man, this blade is dull. And there we go. There we have it. First breakage. Proper breakage. Like, complete and utter failure. So, almost have the first bit cut, and I only have 3 more to go after this. So, this blade more than likely will not last all that while. I will try to make it last, but probably will not. Yeah, it's so handy. If you break your blade in, you can just literally adjust it so that you use the bigger part of your breakage, so you're not really wasting an entire blade every time it breaks from not the middle. And also helps to tighten it up. But on my shopping list is a new Concepts coping saw, because that thing is freaking awesome, and it is one of those tools that I missed from the Crimson days. And for someone who does as much inlay work as I do, I don't know why I don't have one already. Alrighty, so what we have here is the roughly rough cut first piece. Oh, where's the camera? There we go. There we go. And now it's time to start adjusting it. With some good old, I can't remember where I got these, but I have a nice set of diamond needle files, and they do the job so well. Do you lose adjustability on the new Concepts saws, you mean? No, you don't lose the adjustability on them. They just work in a little bit of a different way, where your adjustability is basically more so tension of the blade. But yeah, in a sense, if you break the blade from the middle or somewhere like here, for instance, but you have this much blade left, you do have to trash it because you can't use it anymore in that, because you do need most of it. You need to clip a little bit off it, but little bit of it off, but for the most part, you do need that blade entirely. I'm not making any sense, am I? All right, let's have a look at how I'm going to go about doing this. Where is the green one? Of course, I can't find the one that I actually need at this point, so a bit too, well, I'll work with that. Okay, and that needs to come in a little bit. Right about there. I'm gonna admit, doing inlays is one of my favorite things ever. A lot of people hate it, but to me, I find it very relaxing and therapeutic. And even more so, the more challenging the inlay is, the more I enjoy it. Okay, we're starting to get the shapes in there. thing about very small inlays like this is dropping them. Okay, I don't need to film that much. I'll come back to it in a minute. Move that out of the way so I'm not knocking into it. We're making very slow progress, I'll show you. It's very, very small, but we are making headway. And this isn't even the smallest part in the entire thing, I don't believe. But yeah, talking about coping saws and jeweler saws, this was relatively inexpensive, and I've had it, well, for all of my guitar building and guitar customization years. So it has been a tried and true tool of use. Very great for inlays. Anything bigger than that, it becomes a bit of a pain because the mouth of it is very narrow. But inlays and jewelry and stuff like that, it is perfect. So yeah, I'm keeping a close eye on my bigger printouts so I can try to copy it on the small piece here as accurately as I can. Okay, so that has a little bit of a concavity to it, so I need to do that. So that's here. I'm gonna actually use this. Sometimes getting purchase on a round shape can be a bit difficult, so I am gonna use the saw there to open up a little bit, then use the edge of this one to open it a bit further, and then put in the rounded one. To finish the job. Okay. bit, it's not quite that round. So I'm going to use the end of the other side of this one. There we go. Then I need another bump on the other side. But that I believe I can just do with this. It's ever so slight. There. Okay. Now that got a little bit more of a shape to it. I really should have some background music going. Hey, it's Elite Gunner. Hey, dude. I've just finished putting a middle pickup in a Telecaster for a friend. It has now a humbucker in the neck, single coil in the middle, and single coil in the bridge. Also has a 7-way switch to get every tonal option. Dude, that sounds awesome. You definitely got you definitely got plenty of options right there. That's pretty sweet. Currently, the Celeste 2.0 that I'm working on, it has a P-rails, Seymour Duncan P-rails in the neck. So basically you can have, as far as I've understood, you can have a lot of different permutation of it, because I also have a, God, what was the ring called? I have it right over there, but I have so much stuff in between me and the cupboard that I'm not going to even bother to go and look for it. Anyway, it's got like this pickup ring that has 2 different switches on it, and you can have, well, 6 different tonal options from just the one pickup. And then for the bridge, I have this Seymour Duncan vintage stack Tele single coil, which, as far as I've understood, it is a stacked single coil, so it should sound roughly like a nice vintagey humbucker. And yeah, I've had this guitar planned out for 7 years, and now I'm finally making it. So it's about damn time. Well, no. The original was made 7 years ago, but for 5 years now, I've wanted to make the better, proper version of it. Alright, how does this part go? And all I want is 2 humbuckers, 3-way, 1 volume push-pull for coil tap. Dude, I am right there with you. When it comes down to it, that is exactly what I want. I want less is more. On my personal guitars, there's no way I'm putting a 5-way switch on it. I'd much rather have a push-pull. And 3-way toggle switch, definitely. And then just the ability to split the coils, like I said. That's all I need. And 2 humbuckers. I am a simple man with simple tastes. Get anything more than that and it becomes, well, my brain goes kaboom. I still remember, like, well, you guys have probably seen, if you know Crimson Guitars, you've probably seen the Robert Fripp models, which have 50,000 different switches and pots and everything else, and the wiring inside those is insane. I used to be so happy that I wasn't in that department working on wiring, because every single time that they had to wire one up, they had to have 2-3 different people at least have a look at why it wasn't working and what part wasn't working. And yeah, I just looked at the cavity and I was like, oh boy, I'm not even going to touch this. Not in a million years. I have no idea what any of this stuff does. Although I gotta say, I just saw that they had posted a finished Fripp model, and I kind of really do like the new setup that they've done there, with the back also being sort of like a back plate. Well, the back of it, how would I put it? It being a sandwich type guitar. So they have flame maple top, flame maple back, mahogany on the middle. That actually looked pretty nice. Same, I never understood all the switches and combos. Like, do you really use it on stage? Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I'm not a stage musician. I'm very much a, I don't call myself a musician to start with, but I play guitar and I record guitar at home. And more so, I like to have a, workhorse guitar that does everything I need it to, and then I get different sorts of flavors of sound from maybe different plugins. I don't have amps, so different plugins, but different guitars. But for the most part, all my guitars are tuned differently, so I use them for certain things. But yeah. And while I may say less is more, I'm not saying that I'd immediately go for 1 humbucker straight into the output jack. I feel like having at least some adjustability is good. Complicated guitars can be good for writing than something simpler for stage. Yeah, exactly. Like they have a purpose. If you want that one guitar that does literally everything you need it to, and use it more as a tool for writing and come up with everything, then it makes perfect sense to have something that does everything for you. Yeah, I'd rather have a modeling pedal board instead of all the switches in the guitar. Now, maybe we come to the my brain just completely turned off right there. Maybe the compromise here and the mid-ground here would be the Shrieking guitar and a Helix pedal board, like we have discussed with, at least with Robin before. Hey, Ironbar! Welcome! How you doing? Good to see you. All right. Or the quad cortex. Exactly. Or the quad cortex. Okay. How are we looking? I think that, for now, is a good start. Now we can start working on getting the pieces for this one cut out. Because I have chipped the blade a little bit, I will use a new one for the engraving. Yeah, the kanji for Matt's guitar. Exactly, Aramar. So, now that you've joined in, I'm going to explain again that we're not doing the bigger inlay. Instead, we're going for the smallest I had. So, by comparison, that is how small it is compared to what we previously had, which was roughly about this size. So we're going from this to this now. Okay. Now I really, really want to use this. Look at that. Hold on. But I don't know. I don't think any of the other parts really fit it. Oh, how come for the smaller inlay? Well, I talked with Matt about it, showed him a couple of different pictures, and pretty much opted that it didn't work with the two frets kind of cutting into it. So instead, we're just going to put it in the middle of there, so you can get the entire inlay just in the one fret space, instead of having to cut into the actual inlay. Okay, I think that is too cool to kind of pass up, so I might put that piece there. I think that is what I'm gonna do. So, brand new blade. On my LTD, I have a volume, 3-way, tone knob, but tone is always on 10. I do want to put Jim Root's demonum, I can't say that word, pickups in it and wire it like Jim Root's stat. What do you think of this? That sounds pretty badass. One of the guitarists in my band actually has the Jim Root pickups, and they sound so freaking good. And I'm not usually the biggest fan of EMGs and stuff, but those sound good. They sound really nice. As for the tone, always on 10. Now, what I've always liked is Misha on his signature guitars, at least his customs. He has, no, I think he has it on his signatures. But yeah, Misha from Periphery. On his signature guitars, he has the tone knob as a push-pull, but when it's in its normal position, so when it's pushed down, it is inactive. So the signal is just passing straight through it, and it's technically then on 10. But if you want to use the tone, you can actually then pop the knob and pull it up, and then it activates the tone, and then you can control it. I'd like that idea. You have the option of using the tone, but you don't necessarily need to. For instance, on my own guitars that I would build for myself, I would just have a volume knob, personally. But I understand why people like tone. But for the most part, a lot of people I talk to, which are metal musicians, to be fair, they always just have the tone on full. Oh yeah, and then when it comes to push-pull for split coil, then you can just move that to the master volume. I mean, that's what I do. And people told me that that's weird, that usually the push-pull is in the tone, but it just acts like a switch. I don't see what's wrong with it being on the volume. I guess if you need volume control, then it might screw something up. I don't know. All right, I am going to put that there. I have decided to do that. Take that, put it here. Again, needs light. Now again, I'm just going to do this very carefully. Not cut through the first pass. Okay, now I can feel that I'm engraving onto the pearl. But I'm more into the Spirit Box Ginger Sleep Token type of music with a bit more Slipknot riffing. Not sure if his pickups are good enough for this style. Thoughts? I don't know. From they're very aggressive sounding pickups. They're very saturated as well. If you're looking for something that is a lot more clearer in a way, then yeah, the Seymour Duncan Nazgul and Sentient, those are pretty typical for metal stuff, but I've always found them a little bit lacking, to be honest. That I would more actually for that kind of stuff that you're talking about, Ether, would be probably nail bombs from Bare Knuckle. Possibly, they would work pretty well. They're aggressive sounding enough, but they have enough clarity to actually get your lows to sound roughly like those bands that you're talking about. But I mean, researching and trying to find and source
what kind of pickups they use is always a plus. For instance, with Roman and Ginger, I'm pretty sure that in his OD Venus, he has bare knuckles. Well, nowadays, in a couple of his guitars, he has the MSBs, I think. But at least from Omer, they had bare knuckles in them to start with. Spirit Box, I'm not actually sure what he uses. I would not be surprised if he uses something similar. Meanwhile, with Sleep Token, I don't know. UK based band would make sense if they had bare knuckles. It's UK. I really do like bare knuckle. I've only had aftermaths in one of my guitars. They were a bit too aggressive for my taste, and I sold that off though. Might sound stupid but when Jim plays cleans with his EMGs, it sounds amazing. No, that is exactly what I have always said. It's like, I don't necessarily like EMGs for metal. Everybody uses them for metal, and I understand why they do, but they can tend to sound a bit muddy. But the clean tone on EMGs, they actually are not that bad. Bare knuckle are my favorite right now. I love the pairing of War Pig in the bridge and Nail Bomb in the neck. That is a good pairing. But yeah, I strongly recommend bare knuckle. I'm actually planning to, when the time comes, to do some upgrades on the Pine guitar. I'm planning to get some bare knuckles for that job. Well, that is a very, very rough and dirty engraving there, but it does the job. Okay. This part. Oh. There. Let me use that. I'm gonna use that right there. Import those is gonna be expensive. Yep, that's kind of what I'm struggling with right now when it comes to bare knuckle. Is thanks to Brexit, things got a hell of a lot more expensive to get from the UK, which is a royal shame. BRB food. Not sure if you're online then. Sorry if you're gone. Thank you for the stream. Well, thank you for tuning in. And I'll see you next stream, hopefully. Signing off. Good luck with the rest of the inlay. Thanks. Be sure to pop by next time. I'm glad you could pop by this time. Have a good one. Laitatko sä ove? Ilmeisesti kuuluu jonkun verran.
Oh, sorry.
Ei se mitään. So in the background there, you were visited by a happy puppy as my girlfriend came home. Glad the dog didn't knock down the tripod. Was close though. I've come to realize that because of how I had already taped this up, I just need to do rough engraving, and then when I actually start cutting it out, or when I cut it out, I need to go back and really work on the shape a lot more. Because right now, these shapes that I'm cutting out are really, really rough. Alright, seeing as we have the rest of the pieces from this bit of pearl, makes sense to do the last one as well. Due to time issues, I laser cut all my inlays. If I had a laser cutter, I would still probably be doing this by hand. To be honest with you. It's just something I've always loved doing. But I completely understand why you would want to laser cut this instead of doing it by hand, because that is by far a much more sane way of doing things. Trying to find a good placement for this without that might be a bit too close. I think I might have to put it here. The thing that makes this planning stage really annoying, that I mentioned in the previous stream as well, is the fact that when I did my first inlay job, I cut all my pieces out straight from the middle of the thing. So wasting a lot of material that way. Not being smart about it, like at all. But yeah, what I might end up doing is cutting this stream soon, and then just do the rest off stream. But I will get these engraved first. Oh, there goes the tip of my scalpel. But yeah, essentially I'm just getting the really, really rough shape in there, and then kind of similarly to what we did with the first part, I am just gonna get the final shapes in with the needle files. Because cutting through 2 layers of masking tape and paper is not really that accurate, especially because the paper underneath can move. Stress relief. Don't know how to write that word. No, yep, exactly right. Yep, that is what I was saying earlier as well. This is really nice, therapeutic, and I can just kind of lose myself into doing it. So it's nice. I like it. But hey, I got all the really rough engraving done. Hopefully you can make something out. Don't know if you could, but yeah. Now I have the starting points to which to kind of cut to, and the aim is to cut these out and then really start adjusting more and more as I go. I do want to bring that out to there. Gives me a little bit more room to kind of work on it. This needs to be rounder so I have more room. There. Okay. Yeah. I am gonna leave this here for now. My phone's running out of battery as well, so I won't be able to respond to chats, but this was nice. We got one small bit done. And yeah. Slow progress, but progress anyway. Thanks for popping by. I am gonna sign off, and I shall see you guys in the next stream. Actually, I wonder if I can. Can I end the stream here? I can't end the stream on here. Well, oh well. I shall see you next time. Now I find my way all the way to the computer.